Hey guys, what's going on? Wanted to come to you guys live to talk about books of all things. Books. It's like, dude, trust me, when I was growing up, man, wasn't nobody read no darn books when I was at, man. But I don't know if we had any books in the house. If we did, I don't remember them. You know what I'm saying? It's like, dude, we didn't read no books. The only time you read a book is when you trying to get that accelerator reader pizza. You know, you trying to add up your points on the accelerator reader to get a free pizza. That's about the only time that I read an actual book. Like, I wasn't reading no books, man. But the first book I probably read, I was still probably a little kid. It was about Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying? It's the only reason I read the book. But when I was in college, I still wasn't reading books. But when I was in college, one of my friends hit me up talking about a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad. And I know a lot of y'all probably heard about it or whatever. But this book called Rich Dad Poor Dad, if you haven't picked that up, you got to go pick that up. That changed everything for me, really, man. Rich Dad Poor Dad, just understanding, you know, or just and it took me a while to even get it. You know what I'm saying? It took me a minute to figure out what the heck this man was talking about. It was that foreign to me. Like it was that foreign to me to think different, right? So this guy had a rich dad, he had a poor dad. You know, the rich dad, well, the poor dad's like, hey, go to school, get a good job, get you a good maybe government job or work 30 years, all this other stuff. That's basically the natural life, what most people do, right? While the poor dad was telling them, hey, look, teaching them lessons about money, how money work, how credit work, and all this other stuff, teaching them to get assets, right? And accumulate assets, bring in stuff that'll bring you money, without you working for it, right? So the rich dad, poor dad thing kind of got me thinking about passive income, passive income, passive income. That's what made me think about passive income, and that's why I really started looking into real estate. Um, and one of my friends was trying to get me to read that book, and I thought he was crazy, man. Like he would call me, talk about that book. I'm like, dude, what are you books, man? It's like, dude, if your friend is talking to you about a book, it's like, dude, what are you talking about, man? It's like we was like what 20 years old, and this guy talking about books. Oh, like, man, I ain't trying to do no friggin' books, man. I ain't trying to read no books. But man, it took me a minute to even get through that book. I was just, man, I try to read a book, I fall straight to sleep every time, right? But finally got through the book, kind of understood it, and I started going and trying to figure out some real estate stuff. That's when I ran into Bigger Pockets and all that stuff. And then I learned more books from them. But the Rich Dad Poor Dad was big. It just was eye opening. Not that it changed so much, but it was just eye opening for me. And I don't think I'd have been looking into real estate like without paying attention to that book. And not too long ago, I was talking to one of my friends, same dude that told me about the Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I was like, dude, I don't know how many people that I know that have read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, that I really know. So I would call people up in my family, hey, you read that Rich Dad Poor Dad? Ain't nobody read no Rich Dad Poor Dad. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody read that book. So it's like I'm probably the only person in my immediate family that have probably read that book. Maybe somebody read it, but I'm probably one of very few. I got 9 people, 11 people in my immediate family. So, you know, uh, none of them was reading the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, let alone the other books that I'm about to talk about today. So that Rich Dad Poor Dad thing really opened up my mind to think about real estate. And then that's when I started looking into it. And that's why I bought my first rental property and stuff like that. But shoot, it took me like 8 years after reading Rich Dad Poor Dad in order to really make a move. You know what I'm saying? It's like I understood the concept, but just because I understood the concept of passive income, just got to understand the concept of buying assets, I didn't understand how to get money to buy assets, right? I didn't understand how was I going to get money to buy assets was my thing. I didn't get that. I didn't understand that part at all. You know what I'm saying? So that I spent so much time just learning. But the thing is, I didn't understand. I had to get your money right. You know what I'm saying? You got to get your money in order. And one of the other books that I read that I wasn't even thinking about was Dave Ramsey book. Forgot what it was even called. I think it was like Total Money Makeover or something like that. So I read that book and I listened to a bunch of him. Just trying to get my money right, man. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get that money right. People telling so, oh, I ain't got money. I ain't got money to start wholesaling. I ain't got $300 a month to start doing this. You probably need to go listen to Dave Ramsey Total Money Makeover. You probably need to go listen to the Bigger Pockets Money podcast. That was big. Bigger Pockets Money podcast was huge because it was all kind of tips and tricks about the daily life, how to cut back, how to do stuff different on your daily life in order to save money so that you can invest in your business, so you can get your credit right and your money right, so you can start getting involved in real estate, right? So that was a big thing. Even people that's making money, man, it's like you gotta make that money work right. You know what I'm saying? So I started doing stuff. People thought I was crazy. My brother, I was on a cell phone playing with him, but we was paying like maybe $150, $160 for two phones. And I know some people are like, man, that's good. But I cut that off, cut my phone off. I started, I went to Walmart Mobile and got a Walmart mobile phone, $25 a month, right? So my cell phone bill went from like 160, 180 to $50 a month, right? My one phone with me, one phone with my wife, right? It's like, you know, so bam, that was a lot of money back in my pocket. I started paying stuff off. I started getting my money right, right? And that's what allowed me to buy that property. And that's what also allowed me to even have a little financial runway where I could, you know, have be able to work an extra job, and all that money went straight to the business. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't need to work an extra job to pay my bills. I didn't need to work an extra job to eat. I didn't need to work an extra job to do none of that other stuff or save. I was saving money at the same time. I was working an extra job so I can invest in my business. You know what I'm saying? So just getting you'd be surprised, man. Just get your money right. You know what I'm saying? Even if you're making tons of it, you spend a ton of it. You make a ton of money, you spend a ton of money. That equals little money, right? Get your money right, man. You know, and most of the stuff is like we always like most of the stuff you don't even it's more about show. It's more about feelings. It's like, man, I switched from Verizon to Walmart Mobile. What are you doing over there at Walmart Mobile? Man, Verizon to Walmart Mobile. My life did not drastically change when I went from Verizon to Walmart Mobile. I was fine. Right? I was okay going from Verizon to Walmart Mobile. I was just fine. The only difference was I had like $100 and some back in my pocket every month, right? So, dude, before everybody started cutting that cable off, I cut my junk off. Before people started screaming, I was screaming like a mug. You know, I got YouTube TV. It was like $50. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like, dude, I didn't have YouTube TV for a long time, right? I just had Netflix. That was it. It was paying like $12, $9, something like that. Turn everything off, man. If I want to watch a football game, I gotta go to somebody's house. I gotta go out to watch a football game. You know what I'm saying? And then like basketball season come around, I want to watch a game or something. I'll sit there and get like YouTube TV for like a month and then turn that trash back off. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I would do. I read the book, Total Money Makeover, helped me out, get my money right. You know what I'm saying? So that was the big one. And then after that, man, just a bunch of mindset books. Because like I said, I learned a lot of stuff, but you got to have the mentality to take action on what you're doing and to have the discipline to stay within yourself in order to even, be able to save money or be willing to go out and do stuff that most people are not willing to do. You know what I'm saying? So, uh, just that, go through these books that I have read and that I'm reading right now, man. So, uh, the book that I'm reading right now, the book that I've been reading right now is called Discipline is Destiny. Discipline is Destiny, it's a great book. Obviously, it's a great book. But it just talk about, you know, your destiny, what you're trying to get to, whatever that is you're thinking about that you're trying to get to, whether that's wholesaling, whether that's financial freedom, whether that's building some other business, whatever you're trying to do, whether it's spiritually, whether it's, financially, physically, right? Man, you have got to be disciplined in what you're doing, man. It's like the discipline is gonna be what determines if you reach your destiny, man. With this wholesaling thing, like, you got to be disciplined and consistently marketing. You got to be disciplined and getting up and going after it every day. It's a part of the book that talks about just show up. It's like, dude, most of the time, the issue is you just ain't showing up. It's like, just get your butt in the seat. Just be in the right place at the right time. Just show up. Most of y'all problem is you ain't even freaking showing up. That's the problem, man. You're not even showing up. You're not even trying. You ain't doing nothing in order to make something happen. You're not even showing up. That's mostly the problem, man. It's like, dude, most of the deals I did is because I was just there, right? I was just there. I was at my computer. I was responding to people. It didn't matter if it was a Saturday, Sunday, Monday, morning, night, 11 o'clock. Dude, I remember a joker calling at 10, 11 o'clock at night. I'm like, ooh, I know that's a deal. This joker calling in the middle of the night. I know this is a deal. Because who the heck calling somebody, who the heck calling somebody interested in selling their property at 10 o'clock? I know this is a deal. So just do what it takes. Just answer your phone, man. Like, there's been so many things that I've been trying to do that I have to set up service for different business that I got. And it's like, dude, I call people in order to buy something and they ain't even picking up their phone. It's like, dude, pick up your phone. Respond to the text message, right? It's like some of y'all may be texting people. You need to be responding to every text message. There's people who cold call, like, you need to pick up the phone and call people. Like, I'm just saying, man, people, like, how many people should I call every day? As many people as possible. Pick up the phone and call people. Right? It's like, some of you, it's just about showing up. If you show up every day, you will get the results. And it just go through and talk about it. It doesn't matter what you're doing, man. Just show up, right? That's the number one thing that people lack, that people don't do, man. Even in this wholesale thing, it's like, I guarantee you that there's people who hit me up. It's like, man, I've been following you. I show up and I watch all your lives and I watch all these videos, and I learn how to wholesale and I'm doing deals. It's like they just showed up and then they took action, right? That's it. There's two things you got to do. You got to show up. You got to take action. That's it, man. Like that's humongous to be able to do that, man. To show up and to take action is really, really big. And you got to do both of them, right? That's another thing. Like Keith Everett taught about it in his 2-day. We all went there, and the biggest thing he kept harping on is implement. We showing you this stuff, but you got to implement it. You know what I'm saying? You got to put it into practice. Then you'll see the results. So you got to show up and you got to do, right? You got to show up and you got to take action. So that's some of the big things. Let me see what some people are talking about here on the YouTube. Great book, my favorite. Be Obsessed or Be Average by Greg Cardone. Yeah, that's a good one, man. I got Grant Cardone down here too. The 10X. That's the thing, man. The difference is that some people are obsessed and some people are not. Like the people that I see that's even successful with this wholesaling thing that I talk to, the ones that are successful are the ones that are obsessed, right? Uh, I got a friend, like, he wake up, he goes straight to his seat, and he all about wholesaling all day long. Yeah, you're gonna be successful that way. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so if you're obsessed about it, man, that's why I tell people, it was like Max Maxwell was talking about this too. It's just being obsessed, man. It's like I posted a video the other day. It's like falling asleep, trying to listen to people, trying to learn stuff. It's like you have to be that obsessed. Where it's like, dude, I can't get enough of this. You know what I'm saying? And that's when you know you about to get there. You know what I'm saying? You know you about to get there. So A also said, what year was that, bro? The book came out in 97. Dude, that was like 2010, 2010 or somewhere around there. Like, dude, I wasn't reading that book way back then. That was like 2010. And he was, my guy was trying to help me read that book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I couldn't even understand it. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't know what an asset was, and I didn't know what a liability was. I didn't know none of that. Right? I didn't know none of that. I didn't entrepreneur. It's like, what is that? I'm telling you, I did not grow up with, I did not grow up, oh, I had an entrepreneur bug. I didn't have no entrepreneur bug. The bug I had was, I don't want to be average bug. That's the bug I had. The bug I had, I didn't want to be regular. I don't want you to be punching a 9 to 5 for 30 years. That's the bug I had. Right? It's like, dude, just didn't want to be average, man. That just, no, man, no. Like I said, at one point it felt good, like, dang, I'm coming to teach you. That's good. Then I looked around, I'm like, well, shoot, this ain't good enough. This is not far enough. From where I came from, this is not far enough. Not for me. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I got to go and be something way more than this in order for me to feel good about, where I came from to where I got to. Because what that teaching stuff, it didn't advance my family enough for me to feel good about it. You know what I'm saying? It didn't advance my family, my kids, my wife that I got right now. It didn't advance my mom and them. And I know it wasn't going to advance my kids. You know what I'm saying? Or they kids. It wasn't going to advance none of them. None of them were going to be, look back and say, man, daddy took it way further. No, no. It was not going to advance us that far, not far enough where I want to go way far. You know what I'm saying? And then to sit in the same spot for 30 years? No, man. Like, you tell me I'm going to sit there in the same spot, same position. I mean, and then I was like, even if I got a job, even if I got a promotion, it's like, how big a promotion is that? Like, dude, it just didn't seem right. I just knew it was way more out there for me. That's just me. You know what I'm saying? And I there's people out there that want to do that. There's nothing wrong with that, man. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got their own thing that they want to do, and there's nothing wrong with what you want to do. You want to do what you want to do. I want to do what I want to do. The thing is, you can't let this up here stop you from doing what you want to do, man. From realizing what you want to do. There's people out there that want to do stuff and they don't do it just because they think that they ain't on that level. You are on that level. Like, there's people that think that people are better than them, and it's not true. It's just not true. They're not better than you. They're just not. They can show up fancy, Louis, Gucci, all these nice car, fancy this and that, jet, all, it doesn't matter. They can talk with all the special words that they want to talk with. They're just not better than you. Don't think, oh, this person know how to do this. That's what, no, It's like this dude. I'm telling you, man, there's people who get these positions because they open their mind and to believe, one, that they're supposed to be there, right? And two, they got the right contacts, right? The first thing you got to do is believe that you're supposed to be on that level. The second thing you got to do is be willing to go out there and get the contacts that it's going to take to get to that next level, man. You know what I'm saying? And be willing to go take action right now and to stop sitting around and just waiting around. You know what I'm saying? It's like, dude, go take action right now. Stop waiting around saying, oh, I got to put in this much time before I can. No, it don't take that much time. People tell me, oh, yeah, I want to do this in a couple of years. No, it does not take that much time, man. It take a lot of action. It take 10x action, right? The 10x rule, Grant Cardone, go read the book. It take 10x action is what it's going to take. It don't take 10x time. It take 10x action. It take 10x action. It take 10x contacts. Just go and 10x it, right? You want to be on that next level, just go and 10x what you're doing. Another book called So Good They Can't Ignore You. That's another one. Same thing as 10x, man. You got to go out there and turn it way up, right? You got to go out there and turn that thing way up so good that they cannot ignore you. That's what you're doing right now. You know what I'm saying? And the job that you're doing right now, you got to be so good they can't ignore you, right? People say, oh, you wholesaling, you doing this and that. But dude, when I was teaching, I was a teacher of the freaking year, man. You know what I'm saying? Dude, every year I was, everybody at the school knew that my classes, my kids performed better than any other kid in any other class in the school, in the county, in the state. It didn't matter. It's like, dude, be great at whatever you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Being great, it's automatic. It's like, if it's automatic to you, it's automatic. And if it ain't automatic to you, it ain't automatic. You know what I'm saying? It's just what you become. It's a dude at my school was like, man, I'm so surprised. Everything that you do, it just turns out to be good. It's like, one, I'm covered with the blood. Two, you have got to have identity of just wanting to be great at everything that you do. You know what I'm saying? I think the one difference that just shifted my mind is that there's nobody out there that's really better than me. You know what I'm saying? I just gotta believe that I'm supposed to be on that level, and I gotta go out there and act on it. You know what I'm saying? So 10x, 10x, 10x. Another book I read recently was Will Smith's Wheel, right? I don't know. It's a lot of crazy stuff he talk about in that book. But like most people talk about the story about his daddy making him and his brother build this fence or whatever. And they had to build it with these bricks. And it was day by day by day by day. And he was worried about the end results, like how I'm going to get there. And I used to think that it's like, dude, how I'm going to make as much as Max Maxwell? Like how I'm going to make $100,000 a month? Max Maxwell got a video showing me how to make $100,000 a month. I'm looking at this like, dude, there's just no way, man. You look at the end and you think there's no way I could get a deal. There's no way I could wholesale. There's no way somebody gonna sell their property to me. There's no way buyers are gonna talk to me. Yes way. They are gonna talk to you. They are gonna do a deal to you. They are gonna sell that property to you, right? It is gonna happen, right? You have to believe that, and you have to just go brick by brick, one step at a time. Just lay a brick, lay another brick, lay another brick, lay another brick, and over time, you'll have a daggone brick fence, right? That's the thing, man. You got to be willing to go and just step by step, be willing to put in the work that it takes to do these deals, man. You know what I'm saying? I talk about go find buyers. I reached out to buyers, this and that. It's like, dude, you have to keep reaching out to people, keep establishing contacts, keep meeting people, keep going to and networking, keep talking to sellers. Oh, nobody want to sell. Keep talking to people, right? You will run into people that want to sell. That's all you got to do is continue to talk to people, right? You just got to talk to enough people. Another thing right here, good one to jump on to next, is the compound effect, right? The compound effect just talks about, these things add up. Little action, on top of 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 little action equals big action, right? You talking about 10xing, it all starts with something little, man. Little every day. On top of that, on top of that, on top of that, on top of that, leads to big action, man. So you just got to be willing to put in the work. So that the compound effect was a big one, man. He started off the book just talking about, it talks about it in money form, right? If if you double this and then you double that and then you double that and then you double that, you got at the end of the day, you're gonna have a ton of money, right? My first deals was like, my first deal was 30K. Then I made 6K, but after that, I started making 4K, 3K, 5K, 8K, right? It went into later on, I shifted my mind. Sean Taylor was talking about just set a standard for yourself. Just set a standard that I'm gonna do 10K deals. Like my minimum deal size, I want to be 10K. So I started saying that, and that's when I started doing 10K, 20K, 30K, 70K, 100 and some K. And I can't remember the last time I did some that was 3 or 4K, because you set that standard, you set that expectation, and you go to try to meet that expectation, right? So that's why you set the expectations and you try to meet those expectations. Speaking of that, the next book I got for y'all is the 12-week year, man. The 12-week year is a big one because it talks about, like, instead of having yearly goals, and I know we're coming up at the end of the year, instead of having yearly goals, you get all to the end of the year. You don't forgot what you planned at the beginning of the year. You take a 12 weeks and you sprint to a goal. You know what I'm saying? I want to do a deal in the next 12 weeks, right? Or I want to put a property under contract in the next 12 weeks. Well, what steps do you need to take, right? What are your lead indicators, right? Your lead indicators means what are some stuff that you could do that may have no real results, right? It is not gonna, directly make you have a deal, right? But they're lead indicators. For example, how many people am I gonna call? How many sellers am I gonna call every day? How many buyers am I gonna call every day? Right? Those are lead indicators, right? Which means the more it indicates that you may get a deal, right? If I call 100 people a day, 100 property owners a day, it's likely that I might get a deal, right? Versus not calling, right? Versus, you know, just watching YouTube, right? How about call 100 sellers a day, right? How about call 20 agents a day and ask them, do they work with investors, right? How about calling 5 agents a day and ask them, do they work with investors, right? And then if you do that, let's say you call 100 sellers a day and 5 agents a day, see if they work with investors, right? At the end of the 12 weeks, you can look back and say, okay, I called 5 agents a day. How many agents did I contact that actually work with investors? Oh, I only contacted 1 agent that worked with investors, and I called 5 every day for 12 weeks, right? So what do you need to do the next 12 weeks? You need to turn it up. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to call 20 agents a day, right? And by the end, I should find 4 agents that work with cash buyers, right? And if you're calling 100 sellers a day and you only find 2 people that's interested in selling, how about call 200 property owners a day, right? And then the next 12 weeks, you're going to find 4 people that's interested in selling a property, right? So that's the thing, man. The 12-week year just allow you to evaluate this thing real quick and to put a time frame on you where you feel like you're sprinting to something, trying to get something done, right? Versus being so drawn out, so lengthy as a year. The 12-week year just makes it a sprint versus a marathon, right? Most people can do a short sprint. They may be out of breath at the end, but they could do a short sprint, right? But it's harder to do a marathon. You give up in the middle and you never complete the race. You know what I'm saying? So the 12-week year is a good one. And then some of the classics that I like, The Wealthy Gardner. The Wealthy Gardner is a good book. It just talks about a bunch of stuff, man, when it comes to life, when it comes to finances, stuff like that. The Wealthy Gardner is a really good book. Talks about, this guy. he lost his wife in a car accident. This teenager hit his wife. Teenager was drunk or whatever, and then years later, he went to meet the teenager and figured out the teenager was a troubled teen that didn't have like any guidance in his life. So he like took him under his wing and all that stuff, and he kind of treated him like a son, and then he mentored him, and all that's why he was giving out all this wisdom, all this advice, and all that stuff. So the Wealthy Gardner is a good book. And then I think I only got like two other ones for y'all. One is The Power of Moments. The Power of Moments is big. Power of Moments talk about like, dude, if you 30, you about to reach all the moments that you done reached in your life. Graduating high school, graduating college, you probably already got married, you probably already had your first kid, all that stuff that you actually remember, you know already done that, right? You ain't gonna have any more natural moments that you just, you're gonna be the moments that you're gonna remember now, you're gonna be living through somebody else. You're gonna see that your kid graduated. You're gonna see that your kid had a kid. Your kid stuff is gonna be your events are gonna be through the eyes of other people, right? That's what the Power of Moments talks about. But it says like you have to be intentional and create more moments. If you want any more moments, you have to be intentional and create more moments. More than likely, the truth is your best friend, your brother, your mama, daddy, all those people, you probably not gonna have any more powerful, major, you know, things that you will remember, like if moments that you will remember, not glorious moments that you will remember, not joyous moments that you're gonna remember with those people, unless you go out of your way to create those moments, right? So it just talks about the power of moments and that you need to go out of your way to create moments, right? Then the other book that I talk about a lot on here is Courage is Calling, man. Courage is Calling. Courage is Calling is, whew, that's a book, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like most people are living a life, that they really don't want. You know what I'm saying? They're living a life that they really don't want. And courage is calling you to actually go out there and live the life that you want. It's like, it's fine to be in a position that you are now, but why are you not working to get to the spot that you really want to be in? You know what I'm saying? Don't settle for being average when you know you want to be great, right? Don't settle for just being any old thing or any old position when you know where you want to be. Don't just sit back there and not do it because, oh, such and such gonna think this or such and such gonna think that, or I shouldn't take the risk because of this, or I shouldn't take the risk because of that. No, man. If you want this, go after it, right? Don't just sit back. Go do what you really want to do. And don't let other people's thoughts stop you. Don't let your own little doubt stop you. Don't let any other thing stop you from doing what you really want to do, man. Just don't let it stop you. You got to be willing to challenge yourself, challenge your thoughts, right? And that's one thing I had to do. It's like, my natural reaction was just to wait, you know, don't do that. Don't take the risk. Don't do this. Be cheap. Don't spend the money. No, you got to be willing to go out there and actually challenge yourself. Actually take that leap. Take that jump, right? Put yourself out there because that's when the success comes. When you put yourself out there is when the success comes. You know what I'm saying? You got to be willing to put yourself out there, right? In order to have success, right?